Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with your host, retirement specialist and six-time author and fiduciary, Tony Walker.
Welcome, folks, to the Worry-Free Retirement. And I am your host today, Tony Walker, retirement planning specialist and fiduciary. We've got part two of our show as we review what happened at Tony Walker Financial in the year 2024. And with me in the studio still, fellow fiduciaries Heather Hughes, Trey Juergens, and Wes Walker. As we continue this, I'm having more fun with this. I thought this would take at least two shows, and it is. So Derek's over at the helm, got some slides loaded up. I want to hit through those. Aaron producing the show. So let's start off and pick back up with Charles Schwab. Heather, you went to a conference. We won't name the company. You went to a conference this year. A lot of big-time agents and advisors there. What was the big thing that stood out to you in terms of how they handle their trading and their advising within their investment platforms?
They don't. So that was kind of a shocker.
What do you mean by that?
Well,
Yeah.
that was kind of a shocker to me because we have developed our own portfolios. We do the trading in-house. They hire a third-party company to do their trading and pass that cost along to clients. So I was very surprised because I thought that's just what advisors do, is be responsible for the decisions and the trading on clients' accounts. But a lot of advisors are kind of taking the easy way out and just saying, "Oh yeah, I'll pay somebody to do that."
They're just kind of finding the money, and that may be okay, I guess. But I don't know how you stay engaged with what's going on. I mean, if you're going to give it to a third party, you really are a lot of blind faith there that they're doing what you hope they're doing. Speaking of that, I know, Wes, you could relate to this, but this is why, let's go through some slides. This is why nobody wants to do this in-house. Look at the number of trades mainly Wes and Shannon Ross have made. You want to go through these numbers real quick, Wes, and talk about this?
Sure. I mean, they are large numbers. We were joking before about how big these numbers can get when you're trading on so many different accounts for so many different reasons. And you might ask, well, why are you doing all this trading? What could the reasoning be?
And there's no cost for the trades, right?
No. The only fee that is paid to Tony Walker Financial is our quarterly management fee. And we take that directly from the account in arrears. There is no additional fees that you pay for trades. But the reason we're doing this trading is that someone might request a distribution. Let's say they're going to pay off their car, or they're going to take a recurring distribution for income prior to taking income from an annuity. Well, you've got to raise cash for those things. You have to sell things to get that cash to send to their bank account. So that's one reason. If we're doing rebalances, to keep the strategies in line, so keep a certain amount of equity or fixed income exposure inside the account itself, might need to trade for that. So there's a litany of reasons as to why we might need to trade. But as we go through these numbers, we kind of see what does it look like. We've done 32,012 trades, the average trade amount of about $8,000. That makes sense for someone who's maybe taking a recurring distribution, sending money to them. And then total trades, $346 million. That seems high, but when you think about it, if we're just trading those dollars to get money out to them, or we're rebalancing strategies, investing new money, that's the amount of trades that can happen, and it is a laborious task.
It's amazing, but we appreciate all your work there, and Shannon Ross and all that she does too. Now let's keep kind of moving forward. We've got our slides here pegged up. I've got to cover client events. Gina Tutwiler does a great job organizing these. We had 5 in 2024. We had the Belle of Louisville, Churchill Downs, Malone's in Lexington, the Bowling Green Dinner, Top Golf. We've got 5 or 6 planned next year. I always like to say a lot of advisors like to buy complete stranger steak dinners in hopes of getting their business. We like to thank our clients with steak dinners and these types of things in appreciation of their business. Trey, you want to kind of address this? And also, maybe why are all these advisors willing to offer free steak dinners and all that in terms of the amount of reward that's in it for them?
Yeah, that's always been a classic annuity sales pitch. It's buy a real nice steak dinner and impress the folks, and they may trust you with their life savings, and you make a big old commission. After COVID, they ramped up probably even more so than they were before. Transversely, hosting these client events, it's always a busy few weeks out of our year, but they're so awesome. It's a good opportunity. It's really neat when you see clients that know each other that didn't know that they were clients of Tony Walker Financial. we get to go around, talk to a lot of people. They get to meet us, the staff. It's a good time for them to just have a good time on your dime. Thank you.
Heather, you've been around the client events. Remember the first one we had years ago in Louisville? I think we had like 120 people. I mean, that's shown how much we've grown. And 1,500 clients, that's not even all of our clients. So speak to what you think is the reaction from the clients and how much we enjoy it as well as a staff.
Oh, we love it. It's so nice to connect, especially for me and being in Bowling Green. I may have had kind of developed relationships with clients over the phone, and then because they may be in Louisville or other areas. And to have the face-to-face meeting every once in a while, it's great to have. And you mentioned, they see people that they know that they didn't know were clients, but then we've also had clients that have become friends because of the client dinners. So that's always fun.
That is cool.
They always meet up. We want to make sure that we're all at the same event, and like, yeah, we'll get you there. So, but it's always very rewarding to see who we're working for. You mentioned the steak dinners to get clients in. We have, and it's because of your philosophy, we've really stressed building relationships with our clients. So we're not selling an annuity and then we're gone forever. That does happen to clients, and sometimes, we have to even try to help those people. But we really want to cultivate that relationship because we're dealing with their money for a lifetime for them. And it's important that they know who they're working with and have the access to us.
And speak to that, Heather, because you know my frustration here. And it's not that I don't want people to do business with other advisors. It's not that at all. But how many people have you run into over the years, and it's getting even worse now, where people have rushed out, bought an annuity, okay, and they've loaded up on these annuities, and they come to us 3 or 4 years later, and basically they're kind of stuck in the annuity and they want our help. So maybe for those people that maybe have had annuities for a while that want a second opinion, we might be able to help them. A lot of folks, we can't help you if you just bought an annuity last year.
Right.
But those people that are on the fence are thinking about an annuity, how much you would encourage them to at least get a second opinion before they jump into that annuity?
Absolutely. So typically agents have access to the same annuities. We definitely look at only companies that are A- rated or better by AM Best, so that's excellent rated or better. Additionally, we look at how that annuity is going to come into play in their plan we've laid out. Stress plan, because a lot of times people will just get sold an annuity. There is no plan. There is no, how are we going to utilize this? Is this the best fit for us? It's just somebody is trying to make a commission and get their money, and then oftentimes they may not even hear from them again, not help with allocations or anything like that. We take them under our wing, and we are taking care of that annuity, taking care of the client, watching the plan that we've developed for them. So it's light years difference from what we can offer versus what a typical annuity salesperson is without a plan.
That's well said.
I mean, you also say, you hear a lot that, oh, we can do what Tony Walker does. And it's like, well, that's great to emulate us, It's, flattering, but why work with somebody that doesn't, why work with somebody that can do what Tony Walker does versus what we can do?
Yeah, I think you said that the other day. Why not just work with Tony Walker? And so I had a gentleman years ago. This was back at the State Fair, as when I was on a local TV station, and we hosted a booth along with WHAS Radio. I don't know, Aaron, if you can find that picture and throw it up. It was so much fun. But this was almost 20 years ago. And so I was in the booth, and a gentleman came up, nice fella, older gentleman. He said, hey, hello there. I've seen you on TV. And he said, my son's in this business. I said, oh, that's cool. Who is he? And he told me. And I said, well, I know of him. Yeah. And he said, well, I'll call him Jim. He said, I just told my son, Jim, just watch what Tony Walker does and just do that. So, and I think over the years watching what Jim has done, which is, it's fine, it's flattering, but again, it's frustrating because, you can use the same verbiage we use. You can talk about buckets. But the behind the scenes, we're getting ready to get into that. The behind the scenes of what we do, that's what's hard to communicate sometimes until you experience it. So speaking of that, the new staff, Trey, you might want to address this. How many people we hired? We hired 4 new staff to add to our already existing staff. But speak to what we're always trying to do. I know we got a retreat coming up here next week where all the staff will get together. But what are we trying to do with our staff, and why do we keep hiring all these service professionals?
Yeah, so the staff is growing to meet the needs of our clients that are obviously growing from some of those numbers we shared last week and then earlier in this show. But the ability to keep providing that service, and it's apparent when we get these new Google reviews and Better Business reviews. I think one recently even said that we should start teaching customer service classes.
Oh, I love that one.
It's a huge testament to the experience our clients have in working with our staff. And the more staff that we hire, we're not just hiring service staff, we're hiring staff that gets hands-on with these plans, knows how they work. They get to understand these different types of annuities and when that mailbox money is going to start in these plans. They do the income audits and allow the advisors to spend more time with our clients. Our staffing structure is not typical of the industry. Having this many fiduciaries that are not assigned to clients is not typical. Having the amount of service staff that really get hands-on and help our clients is not typical. So adding this staff has been obviously needed, but it's really a good way to provide better customer service.
And let's real quickly, I know earlier we'd mentioned Beth on the last show. Beth Wisman is really in charge of onboarding. She's doing a great job. Who else we got there? Oh, Alyssa Arnott. Alyssa's the one that's doing the income audits. She was in the trucking business and accounting, but I saw something in her. I think when we met her, I thought this, and I did some background checks with some of her referrals she put on there. One person said, if you don't hire this young lady, you're crazy. I said, that's good enough for me. And boy, she's worked out great. Then we have Mary Beth Warren. Boy, what a joy she's been. Leanne in our office said, Tony, what you need here is a phone operator, somebody that can handle his phone, because we take all of our calls. We're so personable, but it was getting so busy. Mary Beth came in, and you talked about, isn't she doing a great job? It's amazing how well she does on the phone. And then we've got Casey. Casey is assisting in our income planning department. Casey's also got a good mind for computers, which leads us to our next subject, because I think Casey's going to be able to help us some here too. This huge overhaul, Heather, and expense with our CRM. So first of all, explain to the audience, what is a CRM? Why would all these years, we've got a perfectly good CRM, but why are we improving that CRM?
Yes. So, last year we stressed customer service to the staff. That's not ending. This year, our focus is still customer service. A CRM it's a client relations manager. It's kind of the database that we use to keep track of everyone, their accounts, so forth. The one we've used has been fine. But with the volume of clients that we've seen, we've decided, and for you, to make the pretty significant investment to upgrade that. What that will do is hopefully give us more robust reporting, be able to simplify things for clients to hopefully be able to see everything on one page, and keep all the account values up to date. And also, it will have the ability to streamline our processes. So we'll be able to process business faster, and everybody will be on the same page on where we are with things. So we do a good job of that now, but we're really hoping that will be more efficient for our staff. Thus, we'll be able to keep servicing the clients to the level that we want to.
And again, I know you're seeing a lot of these clients over the phone and everything, and just how many we have. Well, speak to the fact that having this CRM and also our mission to help more and more savers worry less about money. If we're going to help more and more people, we've got to become more efficient. And so time management is key. We only work 4 days a week. I want people to have those long weekends off. So what have you seen in the last 5 years in terms of our involvement in improving these efficiencies?
Absolutely. We're definitely very excited about the new CRM system. What we've seen is that we're blessed to have this many clients, but keeping track with everybody's things can be pretty tedious. So in an effort to stop, sort of duplicating our staff's efforts, we're going to implement this new CRM and hopefully be able to keep an even better arm around things when we're dealing with clients and their accounts. So I'm pretty excited about where we're going in the future, particularly with technology.
Yeah, I think I love technology. Quite frankly, you all know they laugh at me at the office. I don't know much about technology, but I know the utility of technology. And what we've already seen with this new CRM, just the amount of time it's going to save us, which that in turn, like I said, is more time spent with more clients. So it's an exciting time at Tony Walker Financial. Earlier, we talked about our marketing efforts, and I love all this marketing stuff. It's so much fun, and everybody is so helpful here in providing information. Years ago, and I think you were in this meeting, Trey, we were meeting with somebody over developing a website, and he had a chance to look at all of our content, and he said, you all got a problem. And I said, what's the problem? He goes, you have too much content. So we recognize that. We've done all these, we'll get into our TV shows in a minute, but Trey, what are we doing? And we just really started focusing on our YouTube channel, but tell folks about the YouTube channel and the growth of that and why we're starting to put so much emphasis on that.
Yeah, well, behind Google, YouTube is the second most searched website on the internet. And we have so much video content. Aaron and Derek have done such a good job with the show. And when we are able to repurpose that content, put it in a little bit more digestible videos, we've had 65,000 views this year. Yeah. So, I mean, the eyeballs that get to see this content that might otherwise not pick it up on regular stations, it's entirely free. It's out there for everybody to enjoy. We send out a weekly clip. Usually it's a 3 to 5 minute clip from the show.
Yeah, how can people get on that, the weekly clip that we send out? That's kind of like an email blast.
Yeah, on our website, if you opt in at the bottom of the website, or if you download anything on the website, we'll capture your email. With your permission, we'll send you emails. You're, of course, welcome to opt out of that at any point. But it allows us just to give you a weekly snippet, something to understand. A lot of our clients watch it even after they decide to move forward with our business, but it just helps get more content out there entirely free.
And first of all, I want to shout out, you said to Aaron and Derek. I'm actually going to let Aaron talk about this. So the number of episodes, I know more and more advisors are on TV and radio. Aaron, the number of worry-free retirement, this doesn't count the days back in when I was with the network and I had Your Money Matters, just the worry-free retirement episodes you've helped with. Aaron, what number are we up to now?
Hey, Tony. So on February 6th, 2014 is when we filmed our first episode of the Worry-Free Retirement. And today marks the 550th episode of the Worry-Free Retirement filmed. We've also recorded 413 radio shows, and just in 2024 alone, filmed just under 50 episodes of the Worry-Free Retirement.
Now, of course, all this information is great, and we're not trying to gloat too much here, folks. We're proud of what we do. But more importantly, we're proud that we are accomplishing our mission of helping more and more savers. But somebody watching the show, maybe even for the first time, is sitting there going, yeah, who is a saver? Now, we've talked about our 3 personalities of money and all that, but let's really talk about the 3,500 clients we've learned from. What are their expectations? What are they looking for? What are their fears? What are their worries? So, Heather, you want to just start off and really talk about our clientele and who they are?
Absolutely. Well, in general, our clientele are just hardworking individuals that are approaching retirement or at retirement. They've worked hard, they've socked away money, and they want to be able to, one, us give permission for them to use it, but then to protect it. Once you're in retirement, you don't have time on your side as much as you did when you were working. So a lot of our clients are looking for something secure that where the annuities definitely fall in because they're principal protected. Often they have lifetime income guarantees on them. And also to have the ability to sleep at night. You talk about sleep insurance a lot. That they are not going to lose everything overnight. You and I have experienced several dips in the market, working together. They don't want to experience that horror in retirement. So our savers are really looking for the security, the ability to be able to use their money. And that's one thing that our income plans do provide is they can see it laid out that they've got a plan and how that's going to work for them.
And Trey, I wanted you to piggyback on the income plan. We really, I guess not that we take it for granted, but even I call it the wow effect. Explain the one couple that came in and for seeing something, their life's work on this income plan, describe what goes through people's minds when they finally see our planning process.
Yeah, I think in general, savers, and this is not a knock at all, finance is not their thing. They understand it. They understand they need to save money. They've put money into a 401k. But then they get to the point of retiring and it's like, what next? And I think our income plans provide that what next. And we delivered it to her and she just goes, wow. And it was like that.
I said, can I get you on TV just saying, wow, we were going to even do a bubble where she'd pop up every once in a while.
And it was at that moment they saw, here's when our wages stop. Here's when Social Security is going to start. Here's when distributions from our Charles Schwab are going to take us till when his Social Security was going to start. And then here's when the annuities kick in. This amount of income at the bottom was almost equal to what they were making while they were still working. And we could show that they weren't going to run out of it. And that, any wow moment, that's a pretty good wow moment.
Yeah, yesterday I had a gentleman in for a second appointment. So again, folks, we use an appointment process. We don't rush people through the process. I'd already met with him. The income planning department laid it out. I met with him yesterday. And we always tell people up front, every time we deliver what we call the assessment, You're going to look at this. We'll go over the high points. You're going to take it with you and think about it. And so when I was going to that bottom line, and I said, so we're showing you gross, that's before taxes, around $100,000 a year. And he looked at me and goes, well, I'm not making that much money now. What am I going to do with all that money? And I kind of laughed. I said, that's your problem. But it's like he could not believe that. And the assumptions speak to that, Wes. Why are people sometimes shocked? And I'm sure competitors are, when we put 3% assumptions, why are we doing that? And obviously we're hoping we earn more than that, but why do we use these conservative assumptions moving forward?
Well, speaking to the saver personality, you use the Will Rogers quote, more concerned with the return of their money than on it. So it is refreshing to work with people who are more concerned that you're going to get this money back to them. We can do all the financial metrics as far as talking downside deviation and Sharpe ratios and maximum drawdown. We could talk all that stuff with them if they wanted to, but the refreshing part of it is they are more concerned about actually being able to use the money and not so much about what percent on paper that they're making. What you're referencing is the assumption that we make on our income plans for how much growth we're expecting. We use 3%. That's a very low figure. I mean, even just at the time of this recording, the risk-free rate of 4% on a CD is higher than what we're assuming on those income plans. But the reason we do that is because we would rather show you a low estimate and exceed those expectations. I think the inverse of that is that a lot of advisors will show high rates of return, show you really high expectations, but then you've got that problem where if you fall below that, you really are starting to kind of not do what you told them you were going to do. And we can't guarantee anything, but to set our assumptions low, I think it bodes well for people who are, again, more concerned with the return of their money than on it.
In fact, put this graphic up full screen, Aaron. This graphic, we've used this on the show, but take a look at this. Look what happens when there's a down market when you're taking out money. I mean, it is disastrous. You can see that those values drop. So maybe, Heather, speak to that. People who also come in who are savers, they realize this paycheck is stopping. They're not sure how to convert this large 401k or pension into a steady stream of income. And what could happen if they continue to take a lot of risk, and why we run those numbers at 3%, also to prove to them, if you don't want to take all this risk, you don't have to.
Yes, well, the 4% rule has kind of been industry standard. You take out 4% and with the hopes that you're making more than that, and it kind of continues your principle. The problem is you can't guarantee 4%. As I mentioned earlier, you have stock market drops and things of that nature. So the ability to have a plan knowing that you've got some guarantees that you're not going to lose money or, run out of money is a better way to say that, is really helpful for savers. And, I can't stress our income plans more. They're just really the basis of what we build our practice around. The ability to have something written that a client can understand. It's not just a big convoluted spreadsheet that they don't understand, but they can flip through these pages and point, oh, that's where my money's coming from now. Or 10 years from now, that's where I'm getting my money. And we can back that up. So it's been such a powerful tool. It's been a long time coming, Of course, we've mentioned in past shows, we just do this on spreadsheets, and then we developed our software, and it's been invaluable to us.
But we've been doing that over 10 years, and I think, like you said, even with the annuities and this, we've had so much experience in the retirement planning field. So, Trey, that's the big buzz now. Everybody's going to be a retirement planner, but speak to the experience and all that we've seen, and why somebody who's watching the show who is thinking about trying to hire an advisor, why they better make sure that advisor really does have experience in retirement planning, not just giving financial advice.
As we've always said, retirement planning is a process. It's not a product. There's a lot of people out there that can sell you a product, throw you in a portfolio they've designed, but unless you have a game plan on how to use and enjoy that, you have no comfort in knowing that you're going to be all right. There's two questions we always hear. Am I going to be all right? Am I able to pull this thing off? And how am I doing? So right now we can address that with a game plan on the front end, but then 5-10 years down the road with these income plan audits, we can really monitor their progress. Are they doing okay? On the transverse of if anything's wrong, sometimes we have to make phone calls and say, hey, you're not spending any money. We've got clients that are just stuck in that saver personality, and we have to tell them to spend some money.
And Wes, I know you and I have talked about this. Heather, I'm always talking about it. I think, the joke is, Tony, did you quit talking about yourself dying? But address the issue of what we've done in terms of business continuation plans, what we're trying to do with the processes. My passion for one of the reasons I'm spending so much money to have all this staff and CRMs and processes that continue on is I want these clients to be taken care of. I think I told the story once of a client in Bowling Green that came in, and she was upset. She had heard at church that I was selling the practice for $30 million. It was crazy. And she came in there. She was wanting to track me down, and she looked at me. I said, I'm not selling anything. She said, you better not. You said you were going to take care of us. So speak to that fact, Wes, of the clients who are retired. They are expecting us to be around, right?
Definitely. Well, I think we get a little concerned when you call it the fiery crash scenario.
I'm up and down I-65.
I know it, but
and I
just
don't think
makes
it's going to
scary.
happen that way. My wife says, you'll probably just die in your sleep, but whatever. That wouldn't be bad, too.
So what you've tried to do is have people who can take over if anything were to happen to you. And the other key thing is not so much people, although they are very important, but these income plans is that if you step out, the income plan still remains, and we can step right back in and just still orchestrate the same plan that you put together in the very beginning and, hopefully not miss a beat. So that's the importance. If you're working with just an advisor who you meet with and just kind of talk through your problems and prescribe the product, the next advisor you might get may have a totally different, kind of inclination as to how they want to invest your money and what you should do with it. And then all of a sudden your plan, not that it really was a plan to begin with, but it's changed. So I think that's the key, is that if you're working with us, the plan doesn't change. It seems like you're going to be around here for the long haul, but if the fiery crash scenario does come, the plan will still remain intact.
Well said. And in our time remaining, I kind of want you to close this out, Heather, with thinking a little bit about even advisors changing firms. And there's nothing wrong with that, but us being independent, we don't work for any big company. People aren't just leaving all the time and, then your advisor leaves. What are you going to do? Speak to the fact of the continuity we have here.
Oh, absolutely. So, I think we're all in here for the long term. So, but our focus has always been different. If you're in a large firm, you're looking at sales goals and quotas and everything like that. The numbers that we've gone over are truly amazing, but that's never been our focus. You always stress, it's like, we're not setting a sales goal for the year. We're not going to do that. Our goal is taking care of the clients and helping more people. So the mindset is completely different from what the typical firms out there are. And I think we all buy into that relationship that we have with clients, and, we're here for the long term and wanting to keep serving the people that we serve.
Well, and I appreciate y'all's efforts so much. And then I also appreciate the staff. I know we're getting to kind of get in the limelight, so to speak. But our staff, we're getting ready to have a retreat next week, as I mentioned, but we just have a great staff. We are so blessed with people that are dedicated to the actual clients we've got too. And so kudos to our staff. I want to give a shout out to them. We couldn't see the number of people we see currently without staff. Well, folks, you may be sitting there right now thinking, this is a unique type of firm, and I wasn't familiar with somebody that was independent and could do the things we could do at Tony Walker Financial. We've made this so easy for you to find out more about our operation. We call it the free 10-minute fiduciary phone call. So take advantage of that. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Click on that Let's Get Started, TonyWalkerFinancial.com, or call us anytime at 877-499-9255. We'll see you next week.